I will give you this. This movie, better than Cats.
Valley Girl Cats is how you might describe this.
Oh, Ted is like a trained doctor. One look at you guys and he's going to know you're not local.
Meredith, it's time for another episode of Midnight Local. Here we go.
How you doing?
I'm tired.
Oh, wonderful. I know. We just kind of decided in the last 10 minutes to hop on and do this. So we're a little disheveled, but we're doing it.
So, dear audience, welcome to Midnight Local.
Welcome.
A podcast about movies and shit and stuff. I'm sorry. Are your kids listening? Is that possible? Please don't do that. We talk about some raunchy stuff here. Yeah. I will say bad words.
I characterize this as explicit, so.
Yeah, it's explicit.
You've been warned.
You've been warned. You're warned. Be warned. Anyway, we're going to talk about my life for 5 seconds, then we're going to talk about a fun movie called Earth Girls Are Easy. 5 seconds. Yeah, so I'm
starting the timer now.
I'm knee deep in an edit for How to Drink. Mm-hmm. That needs to get finished up and released for tomorrow, and I've got 2 or 3 or 4 episodes I've been trying to film all week, but it's short week because of the holiday, and also I'm doing this edit, and also I thought the leak in the roof of my office was fixed, and I just found out that it's not, and so I had to emergency while it was still raining, cut a hole in my ceiling, figure out where the water was coming in from, and then go up on the roof and tear a bunch of shingles up and try to repair the leak. And I think we got it now. And now as a result of crawling around on my hands and knees on the roof, my back hurts apparently, and I'm not feeling like filming How to Drink. So I said, Meredith, you want to get that podcast episode we got to get?
It's easier to sit and film.
Right. Since you're going to vacation, you're going to Texas next week.
Yeah.
I cannot consider going to Texas a vacation.
Well, we have family there. So when Mimi is
double penalty.
When Mimi is helping watch the little one, then it's definitely a vacation of some sort.
Yeah, fair enough.
Plus, there's a pool. There's a lot of good. There's a lot of good stuff.
Pools are always good.
Also, I like San Antonio. Texas, is difficult in our current makeup of family, but
deep in the heart of Texas.
Yeah.
That actually just reminded me. Did you watch the Pee Wee Herman doc that came out on?
No, I haven't.
It's on Netflix. It's a 2-parter. It was cool. It was interesting.
I don't have time to watch anything that's not on our immediate list. I don't get sidetracked.
Yeah.
Which isn't completely true. I was just on the couch watching Terminator 2, but that was something I could watch while I worked.
Why'd you watch that?
I just
awesome?
Put it on. Yeah, it was I wanted something on in the background. It's something I've seen 1,000 times, and I was cutting together shorts for our socials.
That's a cool
Terminator
flick.
2 on.
It's
so good.
I got a lot of shit at SVA when I would tell people Terminator 2 and Alien are probably my favorite movies.
You got shit for that?
Yeah, man, because it wasn't Broken Flowers, and it wasn't Crash. Yeah, it wasn't 8.5.
Bicycle Thief.
Sure, exactly. Yeah. Oh.
On the first day of film school.
Personally, I like Ameroperos.
Yeah, right.
That one about the dogs, but.
On the first day of film school, I said that my favorite movie was Mean Girls because I had seen it the night before.
It's a good movie.
And I was like, I don't want to play this game on day one.
Yeah, for real, man. It's real good. It's a good movie.
Whatever I just saw is forefront in my mind. I'm thinking about it now, so it's my favorite movie right now.
Favorite movie right now. One time I had people, it's a conversation about what'd you guys see this weekend? Our teacher let it, and I was like, I saw Wedding Crashers. It looked really good. The cinematography was I liked the way it was shot. It was pretty. The sky was never blown out. I was kind of impressed by that, and also it was funny. And people the teacher was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
Yeah.
I think that was Sal. He was just like, "Ew."
Yeah.
What the fuck? I was like, why? It's a movie.
It's a movie. It's making a lot more money than anything else we're talking about here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're going to talk about a movie called Earth Girls Are Easy.
And this is a movie that
I love this fucking movie.
You came into work one day and you were like, yes. You just didn't stop talking about it for a week. And
I'd loved it for years. It wasn't I had just discovered it. I was just...
You rediscovered it or something because you were very excited about it. This is years ago.
Yeah. What clicked was that I was like, oh, Meredith and Ray would like this movie. That's what, and we were into this thing where since we were working till fucking 3 a.m. on so many edits, and so much of it was hurry up and wait, that we started watching movies a little bit at work. I would hooked up my Plex to the studio. God, I think that was actually when we got snowed into the office that time too.
Yeah, because everyone had the sense to go home, but
well, we had deliverables.
Those all important, B2B commercials that we were making. Yeah. Can't miss that deadline.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Work balance.
We watched, I'm trying to remember, what did we watch at work? I made you watch Earth Girls, and I made you watch Harlan County, USA.
Yeah, there was one, just like, one Christmas, I remember everyone in an edit suite watching Gremlins.
Oh, wow.
I
miss that.
Because there's a lot of, in post-production, there's a lot of waiting for things to, like, not really render at this point, but like you're waiting for comments to come back from the client, and you can't leave because as soon as they come in, everyone's got to like work furiously for a half hour and then send it back out and then sit there and wait again to see if comments come back. When I was working at IF with you, I also was working at another agency called Mustache, and I'd work at other agencies as well. And like the dichotomy between those two places it could not be more insane, because like IF was, oh my god, dude, because IF was a post house, right? Like the other place, Mustache, was an ad agency that had its own editing, like we had editors there, right? And at IF, it'd be like, Greg, here's your studio, here's an assistant, let us know if you need any coffee, and settle in and get familiar with the things, and we'll let you know if there's any notes. And like I would spend like unbeknownst, but beknownst, I was just like in this private room for like, I don't know, there was like 6 hours a day sometimes, and I was just like, nothing to do. Like getting paid. Well, a lot of that is like, we need someone for this job. There's a whole structure. So like, I'll do this quickly because this is going to be, I don't know if this will be interesting for people. But
it's probably interesting.
In the ad part of the post world, there's a whole structure when you're hiring people where you have them on something called a hold. Yeah. And if I have your first hold, it means that like I basically have first right of refusal if someone else reaches out to book you.
Hey Meredith, I know you have a hold. Someone else just called. Do you need to book me?
And I have 24 hours to say yes, or else you're free to take the other booking. And this isn't true for movies or television. Like, this is specific to this world. And
really?
So, yeah, like Ray doesn't have holds. Like, they just have to keep talking and negotiating. Anyway.
Their union.
Yeah.
It might be different.
It's very different. There's none of this sort of hold process. This is like an unspoken rule that just kind of helps to organize this stuff. So when I have Greg's hold and I know I have a project coming up, I just want to book you as soon as possible. So I could have work ready for you in 3 days or 5 days. I'm not going to know until the ball starts rolling.
So sometimes you just have to book.
It's just a part of the budget to have you sitting there for a couple of days so that you don't get booked by someone else. Or I call you, I go to book you, and I don't have your first hold, and you have to ask someone else, and I have to wait 24 hours to find out if I'm even able to book you.
Yeah.
So
that was the one I'm thinking of where I was just like, wait, was specifically the announced teaser for that Bruce Lee Western TV show. I can't remember the name of it.
Warriors.
Yeah,
Warrior.
Yeah,
I think it's still on.
I might be, but over at Mustache, I was in a bullpen of editors, and they would be like, Greg, can you jump into this edit that some like 5 other people have been working on because the client wants notes? And I'd be like, sure. And I would spend 45 minutes to an hour and a half working on that because I'm pretty quick, and I'd be like, okay, you can send that to the client now. Holy shit, you're done with that? Great. Can you jump on this edit? And like all day long, I would just like do 6 different fucking edits, like back and forth, jumping into somebody's work, jumping out of somebody's work,
And we also had a lot of situations where I'd have you sitting around because like Ray would tell me I have too much stuff piling up. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to this today. And so I'd be like, okay, I go to my executive producer. We have to pull on another editor just in case there's overflow that can't get done. And that's when you'd get thrown like just a project out of nowhere.
That did occasionally happen there too. It's specifically the Moynihan job. Can we talk about that a little?
Sure.
The only thing about it was that like there was a huge team working on this video installation.
Yeah.
And
they shot it wrong.
The job never ended, and like there was notes for months and months and months, and it got to a point where I was like the last man standing. I was the only person who was still in the office
like 18 months later who actually knew anything about how like all of those animations were built. So I kept getting thrown back onto that.
Yep.
Specifically that. Is that even being used? I don't think
it was for years. I don't think it is anymore. But I never went and saw it.
Years. I'm so pissed.
Yeah?
Yeah, I never got around to seeing it.
It was an interesting installation. I don't know. It wasn't the coolest thing we ever did, but it served its purpose.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about Earth Girls Are Easy, finally. I like this movie. Isn't this movie stupid fucking fun?
It's stupid fun, yes. And then it's got some, like, real shining moments.
Yeah?
Yeah, like...
Shine them up. Tell me about those shines.
I don't know. Like, I spent the first, like... I don't know. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've watched it. So I'm going to say first 20 minutes, and it might be first 15. It might be the first 30. I don't know. Thinking Geena Davis was just kind of like going to annoy me throughout the movie. Like she was just this placeholder of this ditzy character. So all this other stuff could happen around her.
Right.
And then she goes and destroys the entire house in the most hilarious way possible. And I was like, oh no, this movie like knows exactly what it is. And
she's like borderline building Rube Goldberg machines to destroy the house, like with the bowling ball and shit.
Yes, I wish I had like I wish I remembered all of the things that she does. She puts some shit in the microwave and blows it up, doesn't she? Yeah. It's just the most inventive ways to destroy someone's house I've ever seen.
Released in 1988, premiered at the Toronto Film Festival. I don't know that. Directed by Julian Temple, written by Julie Brown, Charlie Coffey, Terrence E. McNally, with a budget of about $10 million.
And it grossed 3.9. Total flop. It is a flop. Like it doesn't quite land for me. It's like, it's fun, it's silly, it's stupid. I don't know. I could see it getting to like cult classic status. It doesn't is it? Like, are there people? I think so,
yeah. It's gotta be.
I've never heard about it until you.
I gotta tell you, you know what actually surprises me is that I don't think that's ever even been referenced on RuPaul's Drag Race, which is just like mind-blowing because like it's definitely a movie that belongs there. No one's done Whiplock on the Snatch Game.
Sure. It is camp for sure.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, and the cast is huge. You gotta go through
Geena Davis, Jeff Goldblum, who, they were an item. They were married. Yeah.
Apparently, they couldn't stop making out on the stage and on the set and just annoying the shit out of everyone.
Yeah, I don't know, Jeff. I don't know. I'm not going to besmirch the name of Jeff. I may have heard a rumor or two about Jeff. All right, Jim Carrey, Damon Wayans, and Jim Carrey, Damon Wayans, and Jeff Goldblum play a trio of furry aliens. Yes. You got Julie Brown, one of my great loves. Love Julie Brown. Not downtown Julie Brown from MTV News, I think, or MTV Raps. She was a VJ on MTV. But Julie Brown, the frizzy-haired Valley Girl musical comic. And then Charles Rocket, which is I love Charles Rocket's name. It's just a great name. Plays Dr. Ted Gallagher, and Michael McKean is in it as the pool boy. Whoa.
Yes, the pool boy. The
pool man. It's hard to call Michael McKean a pool boy.
stoner pool man friend.
Correct. Yeah, he's always trying to take care of the pool. And the plot is that Dr. Ted is cheating on Geena Davis.
Right. Yes. They're supposed. No, he is. That's right.
Yeah, he's cheating on her. She catches him.
Valerie is her name.
Valerie. That's why she destroys the house.
That's right.
Meanwhile,
he brings someone home to their house, and she comes home.
Yeah.
From her nail salon job.
Right, which is, by the way, the best name for a salon ever. Curl Up and Die.
DYE. So brilliant.
Yeah, I think so. So good. And also the largest salon ever. This is an entire soundstage of a salon, it's enormous.
It reminds me of, like, the scene in the salon reminds me of Grease when they go into beauty school dropout. It's like the cafeteria suddenly becomes this endless soundstage.
100%. Yeah. And then also, I think Joan Blondell is in Grease, by the way.
Yes. She's she works in the cafe. I did read that piece of trivia. I'll put a clip of it. It's wonderful. At first, when they said that, I thought for sure she was one of the two old women doing the morning announcements, but she's not. She's like their very sweet waitress whenever they go into their favorite soda shop, cafe, whatever.
I can't stand Grease, but digress.
You can't?
No, yeah.
You don't like Grease.
I don't like Grease.
I can think of a few things that are less surprising than that.
I don't like 70s disco
piano musical Grease
rehashing of like 1950s nostalgia. Something about like the multiple layers there kind of annoy me.
I think you can only like Grease if you saw it for the first time when you were 5 or 6.
That might be true. My sister also went through a phase when I was growing up where she was obsessed with it and it was constantly on TV.
That would be tough, yeah. In 5th, 6th, 7th grade, if you're a musical theater kid, it's like the most fun music you've ever heard.
Okay. Sure.
It's just very poppy, very fun. And being a kid who knows how to sing the whole Summer Lovin' songs. Anyway.
Okay.
So, if you didn't see it at that age...
You weren't going to get into it.
I don't think it's something you come to as an adult and say like, oh, this is great. This is a great piece of artwork.
Yeah. Love this Grease.
Yeah. Kind of like Rent. You don't come to Rent now and love it. You had to have been an angsty teenager in the 90s to like Rent.
Yeah.
And then it's just nostalgia.
It's got those heartstring nostalgia. Yeah.
That's right.
You ever think about like, I love Nine Inch Nails. I don't think I would love Nine Inch Nails. I mean, I know I wouldn't love Nine Inch Nails if I encountered Nine Inch Nails as like a grown up. I love Marilyn Manson. Like that's just the kid I was growing up. You ever think about the fact that like I was 15 when those songs were connecting with me, but Trent Reznor was a grown man having those feelings still and writing them. Like you ever think about like how like how emotionally fucking like stunted like children you have to be a rock star.
Yeah. And like, is that genuine or is that like, I know what's popular?
No, I think it's for real.
You think it's genuine? Yeah.
I think it's for real. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think you could fake that for some reason.
Yeah. I agree.
Rob Zombie, he sidesteps all that by just singing about like horror movies and shit. There's no feelings in a White Zombie song. There's not songs about breakups there and stuff.
I'm thinking like pop music. I guess Zombie. Like pop artists that grow in their music. I just saw Beyonce last night, so she's coming to mind. But like, yeah, her music is just worlds different now than it was 20 years ago.
Going back to IF, there were 2 editors. Well, she's a country artist now, right?
No, well, she did a country album. I don't think she's calling herself a country artist.
Okay. There were 2 editors who used to work with us at IF. One in particular was actually an assistant who frequently would go do work for Beyoncé. And this person would describe working for Beyoncé as the most nightmarish, exploitive hellscape of torture I have ever heard in my life.
I got a very different version of that story.
Underpaid, kept up all night, like just
we were doing the same thing at that moment, underpaid and kept up all night.
Ridiculous demands, like, hey, I need you tonight, get on the plane, we're going to edit this thing that no human will ever see, and I'm going to make you work 72 hours over this like 2-day weekend, and when it's over, I won't like it anyway, and I'll throw it in the garbage and scream in your face. And you won't get paid either. And I was just like, why would you do that? And their response was like, because it's Beyonce. And I was like, yeah, but like, is Beyonce like putting in a word for you somewhere else? Cause like that job sucks. Is it leading to another job? And like, they were basically like, no, I kind of can't even tell people, officially that I worked for Beyonce. I
was going to say, yeah.
And I was like, this job is the worst job I've ever, stop.
Yeah.
But you get that cult status.
He works on a lot of that type of stuff, though, so he's got to be in circles that know he edits.
I mean, that was years and years ago, too. Yeah. So maybe it did lead to other work. Hey, one time when I was at Mustache, I cut a reality show for the internet for Anna Wintour, and it was shot wrong, and the producer made some mistakes, and I watched the producer break down and sob into a puddle after a phone call with Anna Wintour.
I believe that. Anna Wintour is notoriously a very scary person.
Yeah. Actually, though, I learned on that gig why she is that way. And basically, she's like, fashion is stupid. The world doesn't fucking need it. It's an incredible... Anna Wintour? Yes. No. This is from people who I knew who worked with her. She was like, the world does not need it. It is an outrageous luxury and privilege that you get to be here. And if you are not
deserving of that, I will tear your fucking skin off.
That's funny. That leads me to believe she's much more enlightened than I thought that she was.
Yeah.
I thought she just really liked her power.
I get the impression that she just hates people who work in fashion.
So she climbed to the top from the end. She's the Trojan horse of fashion. She
maybe that was what they
destroy them all.
Yeah, maybe that was her excuse that month.
I mean, I know nothing about her. Everything I know about her comes from this September issue documentary, which now I watched, I don't know, 15 years ago. So
yeah.
And I do not retain information like that for a long time. It goes bye-bye.
Yeah, I'm weird. I'm a sponge about that. All right, so back to actually the thing we're talking about here. While Ted is cheating on Geena Davis, and Geena Davis then destroys the house, a group of aliens who are horny crash into her pool.
Hold on, but something that's important about the cheating is that like she wakes up like desperately wanting to have sex with him, and I think it's kind of like a Madonna horror thing because they're getting married and engaged. Like
that's right.
He's turned off to her, and so he wants
insanity.
And she has this line after she kicks this girl out of their house,
insanity,
where she's like, "Why can't you just have cheap, meaningless sex with me?" Like she just wants to have cheap, meaningless sex and does not understand why he will not have it with her. I think she's not even mad about the like affair in a way that you would expect. She's mad. She's mad because she just wants to get laid.
Yeah, I mean, fuck Ted. I mean, Geena Davis is asking you to come back to bed, man. You know, it reminds me of he's like completely washed this off of him now. Like everybody has forgotten it. But like, what's that British actor? What's his name? He's very befuddled all the time. And he was in
Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant. I was a young man when Hugh Grant got busted having sex in a car, cheating on, of all people. Like, I can't remember her name now either because, you know, she's not really all that famous anymore. But like at the time, every dude on the earth was just like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah. I mean, that happens a lot. And I think cheating is less about the Elizabeth Hurley. Yeah. Cheating is less about what you already have and more about what you don't have, which I guess is as many women as you want.
Al Bundy also did not want to have sex with his wife, which was very confusing to me, even as a child.
Yeah.
It's
a thing. Like once you get married, you gotta go find someone else. Not interesting anymore, right? Isn't that the thing? We're both spouse guys, wife guys.
We're both wife
vernacular.
Guys. Yeah.
And so it doesn't. I don't understand it either. But
no, I'm very Ray Romano in that regard.
I just don't want.
Everybody loves Raymond.
That many people in my life.
Yeah, my wife and I joke too. It's like, who has the time?
Yeah.
How would I even manage that?
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Someone will enlighten us, I'm sure. But anyway, I liked that setup for her because it's just a different approach to like, I'm so sad I got cheated on, you know, I'm not lovable enough. Like it is that, but it's like from a sex positive standpoint instead
she's also
of
like
you've ruined us standpoint.
Totally blameless. Like she's given him everything he should possibly want, you know, like something's wrong with this guy. He's got to resolve some shit.
So she kicks him out of the house and destroys the house.
I think it's his house.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, so she kicks him out of his house, which is hilarious.
Or they live there. They live there together, but I don't. Yeah.
I mean, she destroys the house, presumably because it's not hers.
Yes, right.
I guess maybe she just destroys all of his shit. Maybe they were supposed to read. Anyway, house is destroyed. Horny aliens land in the swimming pool.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Ridiculous aliens who cannot speak. They only go bleep, bloop, bloop, beep, boop,
exactly.
Beep, boop,
and they're primary colored aliens.
Primary colored furry aliens.
Furry, yes.
Yes. And I don't mean furries. They are not mascots, but they are like just humans with carpet glued to them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which had to have been a hell of a makeup process, actually. It is very intricate.
Yes, it is.
Or do you think they're suits, or do you think they actually glued hair to them?
Both. Parts. Yeah.
I mean,
it would have been like a suit. and then there would have been like sections of like, stitched applique. And
yeah, I forget exactly what their faces.
Their faces are not really hairy.
No, you're right. They're just painted. Yeah, and then they've got like hats on, and then their bodies are very hairy.
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum, Jim Carrey, and Damon Wayans. Damon Wayans, man, I love that guy. It's like Damon and Jim Carrey in my youth. They were, fiction. In Living Color, it was an awesome sketch show that I grew up with. Don't revisit it. It is not going to hold up well. It's very homophobic.
As the 90s were.
Late 80s even. Yeah, late 80s. I don't really. How does it go from there, man? Like the aliens. What happens here? They
land in the pool, and there's this weird. I don't know why they decided to do this, but they're like smaller because she has to like shrink to go into the ship, right?
Yes. Well, how do you fit a whole alien spaceship in a swimming pool?
I guess yeah. So they made everything smaller. It's like they just like resized the image to go in the pool.
Yeah.
And then when they come out, they get bigger.
They're getting biggened. Yeah. They're showers.
Doesn't matter.
They're growers, not showers.
She invites them into the house. Here, I've got a play-by-play, so let's see where we're here. Right. Okay. So the aliens land in the pool. In order for them, so she invites them into the house, and in order for them to be able to take off again, because she's very concerned about her boyfriend coming home and discovering the spaceship and the aliens in the pool.
Yeah, they're probably going to get back together after this little tiff.
They have to drain the pool, which is why she calls Woody to come over and drain the pool. So she's hosting them in the house while she's waiting for Woody to come over to drain the pool so they can fix their ship and get out of there.
In the meantime, Julie Brown, Valerie. Isn't Valerie? What's her
name?
Valerie.
Correct.
Valerie is Julie Brown?
Oh, no. Julie Brown is Candy. Geena
Pink.
Davis is Valerie.
Candy Pink decides, listen, Ted's cheating on you and you got 3 hairy furry hunks in the water here. We should go out with these fellas.
Yes.
Actually, we should go to the salon and do a big musical number while I shave them.
We need to give them makeovers so we can go out with them.
Yeah.
And also, as she's waiting for Woody to come over, calling him, they're sort of going around the house watching TV, and in doing so, they're learning English and cultural hallmarks and things of that nature very quickly. They're quick learners.
Valerie gets a makeover. Everybody gets a makeover, and Valerie gets Brand New Girl, the song Brand New Girl, which I forget now. This is going back a couple years for me because I do love this movie, but I haven't revisited it in the last 5 minutes. But like, is Candy supportive of Valerie and Ted getting back together, or is Candy like, you gotta just, that guy sucks?
I think it's in that, because what happens, Candy doesn't come to the house. Valerie takes them to the salon to hide them. Candy sees them there. They decide to do a makeover because we're at the salon, and then in the process of doing the makeover, they discover that they're like really hot, and then they want to go out on the town because now they've got these really hot guys to go out with.
Right.
So all of that I can't remember if she explicitly says yay or nay about the boyfriend, but all of that would suggest to me that she wants Geena Davis to,
at the very minimum, have a fling.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
She doesn't like this guy.
There's a dance-off, a very serious dance-off at the nightclub.
We also discover that they have extremely long tongues, and the women are very excited about it.
Just reach up and lick your eyebrows, fella. The
frogs.
Yeah, they do. That's right. They have like crazy physiology. Like they can do insane things.
Yes.
Like backflips and like, they're just like, they're super fit spacemen. Who crashed on Earth looking for some tail.
Yeah,
which never really comes across, because like when they're in their spaceship, like they basically, like one of the dudes is so like, his dry spell in outer space has been going for so long, he finds out that there are living women on this planet, and like they crash because he grabs the controls and crashes them. I forget which one.
They're fighting over it, and they just hit the control and it just crashes them.
Yeah, they got it. Yeah, so
like a signal comes in to their equipment of a commercial saying that Earth girls are easy.
Yeah.
Or something of that nature. Or women. Yeah, I don't know.
Babes.
Something. Yeah.
I think they even say babes.
Accessible babes on this planet.
Accessible babes. Then, that's right. But they're smart. They never really let on.
It's the 1980s beautiful girls. Accessible babes.
Yeah.
That song came into my head when we said that.
Speaking of songs, we got 3 amazing songs in this. We got "'Cause I'm Blonde," which I fucking love. So good.
They made a music video out of that one, didn't they?
Maybe. I mean, like, so Julie Brown was like a female Weird Al at the time, or an attempted one, and wrote some really funny original songs, some of which you can't play anymore, such as "The Prom Queen's Got a Gun," and "'Cause I'm Blonde," "Brand New Girl," and "I Like 'Em Big and Stupid," which is another fantastic song. What was it? "I Want 'Em Built Like a Lumberjack with a Brain Like a Baby." Something like that. Like, the lyrics are amazing.
They tried, I guess, like back in 2001, they tried to adapt for a stage musical.
I was going to say, it had to happen.
Yeah. And people were involved. Like, Kristen Chenoweth was involved. I think they were workshopping it. Right? Yeah, they did staged readings and performances of a musical play version. So in 2001, they were trying to get it.
Got to revive that. We got to bring that back. The world is ready. The world is ready.
Yeah.
Maybe it could play at the Kennedy Center.
What's going on with the programming at the Kennedy Center? I haven't looked into it.
Cats.
Cats and Starlight Express.
He wants to bring back Cats.
Is that true? Or are
that
you
is a fact.
That? Oh,
that is a fact.
God.
Yeah. He wants to bring back Cats at the Kennedy Center.
What? He just thinks it's the most brilliant masterpiece of musical theater. Is that it?
There was like a huge article in the New York Times or the Atlantic about like the experience of like the directors of the Kennedy Center, like getting a tour, giving the tour to him, the Trump, and like his opinions on theater and stuff, and about like what kind of things they should be doing. That. And he said like the worst thing that ever happened was when Cats and Phantom went off Broadway, and we've got to bring them back. And he was like, I got dragged to see Cats in the 80s, and you know me, I'm thinking, what is this? There's all these people writhing around on stage.
What's this gay shit?
But then I see that they're these beautiful girls, just the most incredible girls. No, he loved Broadway. He had many opinions on Broadway and was a big Broadway fan. He was put off by the salacious raciness of Cats, according to this, but then he was won over by it. That's the implication I got. He was just like, what is this like porno crap on stage?
The guy who ran Miss Teen USA pageant was worried about the raciness of Cats. I don't know. That's what I read. I feel like sometimes he's whoever is in the room with him, whoever he thinks that person will think is the coolest is who he becomes in that moment.
I think that's a really fair assessment. Yeah.
So when he's with Howard Stern, he's sneaking into locker rooms and looking at women undress. And when he's with this guy, he's like, oh, it's too racy for me. I
think that was at any rate, he said he wasn't going to like it. And then he came around on it when he realized how incredibly beautiful the women in it.
Isn't there like they say cat ladies become cat ladies because there's literally like a parasite or hormone or something that gets into your brain. Yeah. I feel like the musical Cats has the same effect on people.
I saw it when I was a kid.
Yeah, once. Wasn't there a guy who'd seen it like every night for like 7 years at some point?
I mean, there's always a guy who's seen
There's always a guy,
There's always somebody. Or lady. There's always somebody who's done that. Mm-hmm. All right, back to this movie. But, it feels like Cats because of the furry costumes and the 80s-ness of it. And, it feels
I will give you this. This movie, better than Cats.
Valley Girl Cats is how you might describe this.
There you go. That's the button.
That's the tagline.
Let's just play the whole what's the tagline?
Valley Girl Cats.
Cats. What is the tagline? Valerie is about to discover how far a girl has to go to find Mr. Right.
Oh, yeah. Well, not very far. He shows up in her pool.
They came to her, yeah.
I mean, I get what you're going for, but like actually it's a pretty small film. They go to the beach.
Okay, so we're out for a night on the town. Ted comes home. Valerie is missing. So he calls the police because, if your adult girlfriend isn't in your house, you call the police.
I think that there were 3 dudes who were left in the house.
No, they weren't there. They're all out dancing.
He called the police because she'd gone missing. Well, I think that he thought that she was in a distraught state.
Well, he comes home, the house is wrecked. So
maybe she's been kidnapped. Sure, okay. Sure. Wait a minute. Yeah, not everything's a conspiracy here, Meredith.
You're right.
It's a reasonable. He's actually concerned for her well-being. He's not like, thank God she's out of the picture. I don't know what trunk she's tied up and dead in, but fuck it.
My hero.
He's just kind of a cad, you know?
He is.
Yeah. They come home. He freaks out. Who are these fellas you're hanging out with? And I think that the story they come up with is, I won a contest on MTV and they sent me a Swedish pop band. They're a Swedish pop band. MTV sent them. What?
Yes. Yep.
They're Swedish.
Which is why they've broken English. I mean, it's as good a cover as any, honestly.
It's certainly in this film, this brilliant piece of cinema.
Does he notice the spaceship in the pool at this point, or no?
I think that at any rate, she is passing it off to other people as a pool float.
But she very quickly turns the cops on him and says he's attacking her guests. So the cops arrest him out of his own home, and he's screaming as he's taken away that the wedding is off, and she is distraught about it.
I mean, figure that out.
None of this makes sense.
Get out. I'm arresting you. Well, then I'm not going to marry you. No! Anything but that. Whatever. We need another song. We go to the beach. I like them big and stupid.
Well, we can't forget how when she's upset that he's not going to marry her anymore, she's consoled by Mac, Jeff Goldblum's alien.
You find out he knows what he's doing.
They find out that they are anatomically compatible.
Extremely.
And
yes.
And they have the sexy time.
Mucha sexy time. Because they were married, it was not simulated. I don't know if you know that about this film.
Unsurprising.
No, totally. I made that up. I don't even want that out there. That's really? A terrible lie. Yeah.
From what I've heard about those two on set, I would be unsurprised if people are like, are they actually, they're actually having sex.
I'd be a little surprised. This wasn't Caligula.
I don't know.
Ever seen Caligula?
Parts of it.
To see?
I saw the beginning of it at a high school cast party and quickly decided this is not the environment for me to be seeing this content. I did not have the presence of mind to decide that. I just knew that the boys in the room were making me very uncomfortable. So
fair enough. Yeah. Those theater boys.
Mm-hmm. We had a lot of straight theater boys. Yeah. It's a really great place to go to find straight girls to sleep with.
Oh, yeah. I guess. Fair enough. Mm-hmm. I missed out. I never got cast. And our theater director hated my fucking guts.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. My grandmother used to comment on her dance partner and the numbers they would do together. And she would always throw out, he wasn't a Fagula, by the way. It wasn't, he was, a lot of them were, but not Jimmy.
Not everyone. Not no. Some of them were smart. They knew where to go to stand out. All right, so MTV Rock Band calls off the wedding. They have sex. The pool is drained the next day.
I forget, why do they go to the beach? It's because the pool guy just wants to go and he brings them.
Woody, Zebo, and Whiplock have a whole subplot story, adventure story, while Mac and Geena Davis are having their romance.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they accidentally rob a gas station.
Yes.
And there's a huge police chase.
Yeah.
And they get arrested. And then we have to break them out of jail.
Yeah. Yes. But somewhere in there is the song that you're talking about.
They wind up in a hospital. And Ted is finding out that they're aliens. And so then Valerie and...
They have two hearts.
Valerie and Mac show up. And you find out that Mac can project his voice and do ventriloquism, and he uses this ability to make Ted think he's actually having some kind of a mental neurological event, and they drive Ted insane, and they ruin him mentally for all time. He needed years and years of therapy after that.
Ted?
I think so, yeah. I think that's what happened.
I thought, okay, so I'd have to rewatch the end of the movie, to be honest. So we'll see how we cut this.
He doesn't actually get years and years of therapy, but they do make him think, oh, they don't have two hearts. You're crazy, Ted. Ted has lost his mind.
But then Valerie's going to go back to Ted at some point.
I guess, because the aliens are going to leave. But then they decide their mind, decide to stay. Or Mac does. Or no, they take Valerie with them.
Yeah, Valerie goes with them, and Candy is like, bye.
And she throws her a canned margarita, which, doesn't make it quite to the spaceship, and it lands on Woody's head.
And that is the movie.
Oh, no, maybe it lands on Ted's head. That's right. Yeah, we don't injure Woody. Woody is lovable. Ted gets bonked on the head with a canned margarita.
Right. Because this is where he discovers their ship here, yeah. Very California movie. Just like a day in the life, you know?
A Valley movie, for sure.
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous.
Right, yes.
It's so good. You know what it feels like? It feels kind of like a West Coast John Waters movie. Like, I don't know. No, maybe not. But like, it's the same kind of just like, why not have that happen? Why not just like, oh, the cops are here. Why not just eat them? Then they won't be here anymore.
Yeah. Like, you know? The cops, one of them has like a touch that makes people fall in love. Like when the aliens touch you, and the cops like after that end up having like getting married and loving each other.
Makes those cops love each other.
Yes.
That's right. He has the love touch.
Yes.
Which maybe we don't, I mean, maybe did they use that?
You can't tell if the love touch just like undercovers something that was underneath or if it like is a love potion and makes two people love each other. Anyway, I liked that little undertone to make the cops gay. I thought that was lovely.
Gayness comes from aliens. Just, Meredith, that's what you're saying right now. Just so you know, that's what you've just said. Okay. Did I hear you correctly? Excuse me?
Did I say all queerness comes from aliens? No. Just their queerness. Another little tidbit is that Valerie, whenever she offers anyone food or says anything about food, it is like the most processed food available. It is always like cheese puffs or something like that.
Yes.
And she's like, I don't know, like the wonder of processed food is taking Valerie.
She's a Valley girl. She is not a homemaker. She's a Valley girl, you know. And that was kind of obviously that's Valerie in this, but remember Julie Brown wrote it, and that was like Julie Brown's like shtick, like that she like was, I like 'em big and stupid because I'm blonde. She was like the singing Valley girl thing.
Yeah.
And this is the movie of that.
Yeah. There's also a dream sequence in this movie that goes like completely into another genre. It's very like Twilight Zone-y or like 1950s. I think, right? They've got like the big, it goes black and white and she's got the big. Do you remember her dream sequence?
Not really.
Really?
I'm sure, I believe you that it's there.
We should watch it.
She wakes up. Oh, yeah. The flying saucers are on the TV. I remember this now. I wonder if Julie Brown was a groundling, because it feels very Pee Wee Herman. Mm-hmm. I do not remember the details of this fight scene with Mac and Ted fighting and her trying to kill them with a hairdryer. I don't remember any of that. That was insane.
That's right.
That was insane.
It is batty. It's its own little short film inside the film.
Absolutely. I'm going to see if Julie Brown was a... okay, fair enough. Not a groundling, as far as I thought. I didn't realize she had a bunch of different shows that she did, though, which is pretty interesting. And she was the voice of Minerva Mink on Animaniacs. She does a lot of...
okay.
Yeah, she apparently did a bunch of different cartoon voices. Oh, yeah. She's Coach Millie Stoger in Clueless.
Oh, okay. When they're okay, I know the coach, the gym teacher.
Yeah, I think she's the gym teacher.
Okay.
Yeah.
Clueless, another great movie that comes out a lot. It has a good makeover montage, as does this movie.
Oh yeah, there's a montage of yeah, right, because they got the awkward girl. What's her name? She passed.
Oh, Brittany Murphy.
What was Julie Brown? Did you ever see her TV show Strip Mall?
Mm-mm.
She had a TV show, Strip Mall.
I know nothing about Julie Brown.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, she's crush-worthy. But Julie Brown had a TV show called Strip Mall, and it was on Comedy Central. And if I'm not mistaken, it ran against, or not against, but like, you know, back-to-back with Strangers with Candy. Did you ever see Strangers with Candy?
Now that I saw.
Yeah. Strip Mall didn't last very long, but like the plot was that Julie Brown had inherited like a skeevy, rundown strip mall, and she was stuck like... You know, and she had like a bunch of different tenants that had different stores. And
like just Comedy Central in the early 2000s was doing like the raunchiest sitcoms they could think of.
Yeah, kinda.
Strangers with Candy is raunchy
and amazing,
and would not be made today. The
no.
Gen Zers would have none of it.
No. In my day, you could say things and not get canceled. You could make jokes like that.
Yeah, I saw a clip of Sarah Silverman today that I was like, I actually appreciate that take, where she was like, what makes your comedy edgy is not that like you can say whatever you want. It's the consequences being there, the possibility of consequences of what you say that makes it edgy. If those consequences aren't there, she was saying it about people who get butthurt that like, they say something funny and insulting and then the internet comes for them or they get canceled. And she's like, the existence of those consequences is what makes your comedy edgy. Without them,
that's true.
It's not edgy.
Yeah. I mean, like a certain portion of people were always pissed about like Eddie Murphy, you know, and people were pissed about like comics going back to the dawn of time. You're absolutely right. Lenny Bruce went to jail for obscenity, you know, like that's like the history of comedy. Yeah, she makes a good point there.
Well, she's making the point that like, free speech doesn't mean that your speech doesn't have consequences. It means you will not go to prison for speaking.
Yeah, unless of course you're Lenny Bruce.
What's that story?
Oh, he was like a comic who was performing in the 60s, very famous kind of alt subculture comic, and he got arrested off stage for saying things you can't say. You know,
during the Blonde Ambition tour, they waited outside and were going to arrest Madonna for like queer imagery and a bunch of stuff like that.
Yeah, that would be state by state. I wonder what state that was in.
So yeah, those are free speech violations. Being canceled on the internet is not a free speech violation. It is a consequence of saying something shitty that people don't like. And when you say, or not even something shitty, saying something people don't like.
On the other hand, if I may, just to play devil's advocate, I mean, like the internet creates I suppose that if you were going to make this argument, the internet does create an environment for consequences that probably didn't used to exist.
Yes,
because back in the day, you know, who was deciding if you were going to be allowed to be famous or not? It was like a handful of producers who were your friends and held the money and like said, yeah, your agent called me and like, no big deal. We're not canceling your tour or whatever, blah, blah, blah. We actually think the publicity is for the best. But now you can have you know what I mean? Like you can have your career taken away from you by the public, essentially.
You can lose your livelihood. I hear all that, but like also like the First Amendment doesn't guarantee that the public continues to want to consume whatever shit you're putting out there.
100%. I just think that it is fair to have a response to that is novel, because the power of the mob is now novel, right? Like,
sure.
If you complained about they're canceling me in the 80s or the 90s, you would have been a fucking idiot. Like, because like, you know, that power didn't exist. Like, what are you talking about canceling? You're like, well, you know, you're on TV, you're famous. Like, no one's taking away your contract. You know, now, especially like if you're a tuber, if you're sort of like self-made and outside of that world, you know, I suppose like, yeah, that sucks. You know, you could say the wrong thing and have the audience like turn on you. And then your livelihood is over.
I still think like, while that's awful, I still think if like, I don't know, I just feel like we've taken the meaning out of free speech. I fully understand that, but like,
yeah, I agree. The free speech, that the definition of free speech has been perverted. And I should also point out too, like it's different than it even used to be, right? Like the concept of what we're even talking about as free speech, that you are allowed to say what you want and not get arrested for it, is not
what the framers were writing into the Constitution. That conception of the First Amendment comes about actually weirdly during the Wilson administration, which is weird because Wilson is like, as a president, one of the least pro-free speech presidents we've ever had. But there was a Supreme Court justice, I always forget his name, who like had this weird change of heart and basically like flipped the script on what that whole thing meant in a really huge decision. But I mean, like, you know, people always talk about like Wilson was the worst because of the Sedition or Espionage Act, which he arrested all these people, blah, blah, blah. I mean, James Madison wrote the Bill of Rights. And the first thing he did when he got into office was create the Aliens and Sedition Act and arrested all these people.
Found a way around it, yeah.
Yeah, he just didn't even mean that. It never occurred to them that's what it meant. It meant you can practice your own religion and that you can publish a newspaper.
Yeah.
That's it. If you have the means to have a printing press, those are the two things you can do. It doesn't mean you can criticize the government. It doesn't mean you can like...
Well, and it's why we have a judicial system so that we can continue to interpret these laws for the time that we are living in now, because
that's the theory.
We're not living in the time then. But
that's the idea.
But I don't know. You're going to have a hard time getting me on board with people don't like me on the internet anymore, so I'm losing money. And so you all need to be punished for violating my free speech.
I'm not on board with it either.
It's just like, where does that argument go?
I'm not on. Hold on a second.
I know you're not on board. I wasn't saying you are.
What is this sound? We have to. This is Meredith. We do need to take 5. Like, it sounds like there's an attack helicopter in my house.
They're coming for your speech, Greg.
Yeah, they're coming for me. I am always trying to at least understand the basis for somebody else's position, even when I disagree with it. And so that's all I'm saying is that like, I can see why you would say like that is a new problem because the conditions have changed. I don't give a shit that it's a problem for you.
Right.
That's
you are being punished. Like, I understand that. And my doorbell just rang and I have to see what that is.
This is amazing. Such a good podcast.
Sorry, it was super sweet. So our neighbors used to have a big dog and they don't anymore. So they like to take Oz from time to time. They have 2 young kids, so they're not going to get a new puppy now. They called us this morning. Their 7-year-old was homesick and really wanted to spend the day with Ozzy. So he goes over there and they just like snuggle all day. It's very, very sweet.
Wow, you live in a world I can't even conceive of.
They were dropping him back off. Well, we happen to have lesbian neighbors with 2 kids on our floor. So, you know, we had a lot to connect over.
Oh, sure.
So
for real.
One of them's a runner. She'll take him on like 6-mile runs. It's the best arrangement and he loves it. So
wow.
Anyway, I probably texted me, say they were dropping him off. So that's
and
what
you missed it because we were doing this. We're so far away from Earth Girls Are Easy. What happened? It's my fault. It's probably my fault.
I think we covered it for a good long time. So this is
Earth Girls Are Easy a commentary on the materialism of Reagan's America? There, I drew it full circle. I got us back on track.
We got the processed food.
Is it intentional? I think it's an unintentional commentary. I don't think that they were making a statement there.
Yeah,
I think that's just the world they lived in.
When you get a bunch of comedians together and put them on set and they just kind of have silly fun, whatever the id is of the time is going to seep into whatever comes out of that.
Geena Davis and Goldblum, they did a lot of movies together. Actually,
what was the other one we covered?
Well, we did The Fly.
The Fly, yes.
Yeah,
I love that movie.
They also did. I did not love The Fly.
I like it a lot.
Yeah, that's fine. They did Transylvania 65000, which I don't think a single human watched. It's a very bad film. And then probably a couple of others, but I can't remember. They had they got to work together. Some. They had chemistry. Real Hollywood romance. We're going to try to do some live watches of stuff. We're going to test that out. I'm all set up to do a live watch of Footlight Parade with an audience, and I think that'll be fun. And
yes, I'm excited for that one. I also, if we can pull it off technologically, think that Roar would be a fun one to watch live.
We can pull it off technologically. I just need a physical copy of the media,
right.
I think. So it's just one of those things. And I think maybe once a month we do it.
Yeah. Where will those lives show up?
We would drop a link to it in a community post on YouTube probably, and also like in other places. Like we could share a link in the How to Drink Discord, but like the content wise, it would not be on a platform like YouTube. It would be on we have Riverside is how we record this, and Riverside is a platform for that. So it would happen in Riverside, and we would just give you a link. But it doesn't. The viewer just clicks in. It's not like you have to be a member or spend money or anything like that.
Right.
At least for now.
Riverside hears this is like maybe we should.
No, I mean like I could if we ever do YouTube memberships, maybe that becomes like a thing over there.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, just for like copyright protections and stuff like that, we would have to own the media. Otherwise, the internet would shut it down. Mm-hmm. We'd get canceled by the internet. The actual mechanisms of the internet.
Yes, right. Shut down. Actually breaking copyright laws, which are valid.
Yeah, valid. I mean, sure.
And some other things that are coming up that we've talked about watching. This one we've been talking about forever, and actually someone commented recently, so I'm glad we finally did it.
When are you going to do it? We're going to do it now.
We were talking, and then Footlight Parade live, Logan's Run, and Soylent Green. We've talked about.
Do you want to do this as a single episode, or do you want to break them into their own episodes?
I've never seen Logan's Run. I haven't seen Soylent Green since high school, so okay. I don't really you know better than I do probably if they belong together. Or how they belong together. They certainly could be
discussed together. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You were saying that they're kind of like the opposite sides of the same coin.
Yeah, yeah. Malthusian ecological sci-fi versus anti-Malthusian ecological sci-fi.
I think we put them together. But that means we have to watch 2 movies to do one episode.
Yes.
I know can be a challenge.
Yes. I actually watched Logan's Run somewhat recently. So I probably just have to refresh myself on the Soylent Green.
Right.
I'm always surprised Soylent Green never got a remake. But
well, if it's as boring as you say it is, maybe no one can figure out how to make it more interesting.
I found it
It is such a referenced film. It's like one of those things where when you know it exists, then you realize that that line, it's whatever people. Is people is
Soylent Green is people
has shown up in various places.
I guess that train movie. Oh no, they're eating cockroaches on the train movie. They're not eating people, although sometimes they eat people.
Yeah.
The train movie.
What train movie? Oh, the Snowpiercer. Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I have seen Snowpiercer.
Yeah.
I tried to watch the TV show, but it wasn't.
Nope.
Wasn't worth
I love the cast too, but I was like, not doing it. Doesn't do it for me.
Mm-hmm. Which is too bad. I love a good sci-fi TV show.
Did you watch Andor?
I haven't, but I will. Mm-hmm. And that would, I think.
Oh, you mentioned that Ray hates Rogue One, and having watched enough of it that I knew I could stop watching it. Why? I want to know why. I'm just really interested.
The reason was that by the time all the characters die, they didn't care about a single one of the characters except maybe the robot. And I haven't seen it recently enough to know exactly what that means.
Yeah.
But they were just felt like they were dragged through a movie to an ending that they were supposed to be really emotional about, and we're just kind of like, I don't care.
Yep. I think that's fair. I also think that it's not a story that needs to be told. You know,
that's probably goes hand in hand with that. Yeah.
And coming to it from Andor, because I had not seen it really. I tried 2 years ago, but I fell asleep. It feels really light, cartoonish compared to Andor, and not serious, which is hard to put a finger on. But it does not compare well to Andor, and I had a lot of problems with season 2 of Andor
because Andor is actually, and I've seen the first season, and I agree with this assessment, is actually like a darker Star Wars story. It's not.
It feels real. Yeah, too.
Not as for kids.
Yeah, no, not just that, but things actually feel like they kind of stack up logically, and I think that's that's one of my problems of
the second season is there was probably an effort to like, okay, but like when this is over, we have to plug back into regular Star Wars, and like you get some hackier sort of hand wave writing, in my opinion. There are things about it that I actually really liked even in season 2, but we can't discuss it because of spoilers.
Okay, well, I'll watch that. We've talking about Severance on the show.
Severance,
because we've gone off in episodes. It usually gets cut from the episode, but we've gone off and tried to talk about it a couple of times.
I think we both agreed that season 1 was better than season 2
yes,
by an order of magnitude.
I think season 2 is a series of setups for something coming in the future, and that's always difficult. Yep. Like, that just is very unsatisfying to wait 3 years for, okay, we're going to put a bunch of pieces in place, and now you're going to wait another 3 years.
Season 2 felt like a lot of nothing happening.
Yeah, exactly.
And also, it answered questions I didn't want answered, and then when you chose to answer them, I hated the answer.
However, I loved the conversation with himself with the video camera.
That was cool. That was really cool.
That to me is getting to the whole point of what
that was really, really cool.
Here.
There were definitely hugely amazing moments in season 2. But
and
you
just the emotional, him getting angrier and angrier as that conversation is happening is like, oh, this is not going to go the way you think it's going to go. It's so good and it's so honest. Like,
logical. It's taking your plot line to its logical conclusion. It's not being afraid of that. We both agreed that, like, and I'm putting words in your mouth, but tell me if you didn't. I didn't need Cobell to have invented Severance. I think
we just going to do this episode now, and I'll just cut in half here, and then we'll do this? Hi, this is a new episode of Midnight
Why don't we just stop and record if we're going to do it?
Yeah, why don't we do it?
All right, this has been Midnight Local. We were talking about the movie. We've been talking about the movie, the Babes of California. What the fuck?
Earth Girls Are Easy.
Can we make that movie now? The Babes of California.
I'm convinced it exists. I'm going to look it up. I bet you it exists.
I bet it does, and I bet it's great.
If it exists, I'm going to say this right now. If this exists, we have to watch it in like an episode soon. I don't even care what's in it, who's in it.
Now we're just the podcast where we review porn.
Yeah, okay, unless it's a porn.
Softcore porn. Didn't really buy the performance here. Yeah.
It's not a movie, but
then we should make it.
We should. We're making it. Next
guys,
on Midnight Local, we make a movie.
Thank you all so much for listening and hanging out with us. Make sure you find this wherever they already found it.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? Why do you say in the podcast, find Midnight Local wherever you get your podcasts?
Tell them to tell their friends.
That's what it is. That's what it is. Go out there and tell your friends.
We're marketing geniuses.
They need to see Midnight Local. We finally figured it out. Go tell other people. See ya.